Hi, my dear Astro family. Here is your weekly forecast or the aspect of the week, as I usually call it. And this time around, I have picked Mercury and Neptune conjunction. I think this is one of the most challenging aspects of the month as well, by the way. So I wanted to give you quite a deep interpretation of this aspect. You might even have it in your natal chart as well, so it can help you to understand what this aspect is about. If you would like to know how it might affect your rising sign, then you might want to be joining my membership program. You can do that on YouTube or you can do that on my website as well. On the YouTube, actually, a few people asked me, so underneath the video, there should be a join button, and then you just press that, and then you can do that. And on the website, you just go on membership zone, and then you will be able to register there. And also, your last call to join my solar return workshop. It's going to be approximately about 3 to 4 hour workshop, and I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide how to read a solar return chart. But without any further ado, let's get started with this Mercury conjunction to Neptune. It's going to be happening on 8th of March in most time zones, and it's going to be happening on 27 degree of Pisces. Now, first of all, actually, it's very close to a fixed star called Scheat. And I also want to talk about that. I don't remember talking about this fixed star before, but you can imagine, just like the name suggests, if I take out, the A sound of Shiad, then you know what this might be talking about. So by the way, this is sitting on 29 degree of Pisces, where my progress sun is going to be next year. So I'm looking kind of forward to it, what it might indicate. Now, some astrologers tend to be looking at it as a Mercury and Mars type of energy. Some looks at it as a Mercury and the Saturnian energy. So, this is one of my little issue with fixed stars, that different authors associate them with different planets. So therefore, it might indicate a little bit of a difficult to grasp their meaning. But Shiat in astrology would be talking to you about someone who is headstrong or quite combative as well. It is mostly about, like, it's an unfortunate star. It would talk to you about how the changes are happening in life. It has got an unpredictability around it. So, for example, if you've got any personal planet there, such as Jupiter or Venus, for example, it might be an indication that sometimes your finances are up and sometimes it is down. So this fixed star has got an element of violence to it. Also, especially considered to be difficult if it is connected to the sea somehow. So whether you work on the sea or you travel by sea and so forth. So ancient people believe that it would bring some danger. Or talking about waves or storms or tidals, all those type of stuff could be quite dangerous for the native. Now, we have got Mercury and the Neptune conjunction happening there. So actually, one of the indications on mundane level could be that there is going to be some type of hurricane somewhere, or something to do with some very wavy type of sea and so on. But today I want to give you some very practical tips how to go about this on a personal level. So one of the most important factors, most likely, with this aspect is to gain mental clarity. It would cause kind of like your brain freezes a little bit. You can't see things clearly. You can't think clearly as well. Probably 2 days before and 2 days after, you might feel quite tired. You might feel life being a little bit heavy as well. So one of the good things that you can do today is to rest a little bit. Try to take off all the pressure of your mental abilities. Try not to think, try not to plan things out. Don't think about your responsibilities. Don't think about, work. Don't think about what you're going to be doing tomorrow. Try to do a little bit of a meditation, for example. I mean, this could also talk to you about medication as well. For example, forgetting to take your pills. So you might want to be making some notes or reminders for yourself because it's very easy to forget things. So you might just want to be sitting on the sofa, watching TV or having a hot bath, for example. This aspect is telling you to escape from mundane responsibilities. You know what? It would be great, of course, if you can do that, to switch off your phone. It would the reason why, because often with Mercury and Neptune, you are having a conversation with someone, something is said, and you might misinterpret that. Or they might misinterpret something, and then it might lead to an element of argument as well at the same time. So it would be talking to us about less talking, and that is re-emphasized by not only Neptune, but the Pisces sign as well, because Pisces is a muted sign. So it means that it doesn't talk, it's more to do with feeling. It's probably good not to get into arguments either, or trying to defend yourself and so forth, because actually it can escalate further. And I feel like the dispositor being Jupiter, it could be such thing as, it's going to become more of a serious in the sign of Taurus. Also, this could talk to you about, because Mercury is something to do with the lungs, so you want to take a deep breath. You want to count to 10 before you talk, actually, or just doing some type of breath work. Take a hot bath, for example. But if you want to have conversations, you can have really great healing conversations with someone. But I would recommend not to do that, for example, when it comes to like relationship conversations, like having a serious chit chat with your partner, unless you think the relationship really benefits from it. Have, a piece of paper, write down your thoughts, make sure that those are clear and understandable, because as I said, it can really lead to some misinterpretation of your thoughts as well. I would say today, do not sign a contract. This is a reminder to heal your mind. So how can you heal your mind? Maybe it's about positive reaffirmations, feeding your mind with some positive sentences, but also you can start thinking about why you have got certain type of reactions to things as well. This is a very artistic combination, by the way. So if you want to write a poem, a novel, a short story, an article, all these could be good, but even it's brilliant for drawing as well. This is an invitation to use your imagination. This aspect is telling you not to look at the details today, as you might get lost within them, and basically you cannot kind of fit the last piece of the puzzle into the picture, and then it's going to make you nervous. Also, what's very good with this aspect is to go through a spiritual growth. So if you want to have a spiritual conversation with someone, you guys might not see eye to eye, but it could be an eye-opening conversation as well. Neptune is about letting go. So it would be brilliant to try to let go of some of your thoughts. So not just switching off the brain, but do you have some thinking patterns? Do you have some thoughts that you think that holding you back? Then how to release those? Maybe you want to do a sound bath, for example, or anything to do with these salt lamps, and then you just lay there, and maybe someone is doing Reiki on you. I mean, Mercury represents the hands, Neptune is the healing. So actually a Reiki sounds just brilliant to me. Maybe you shouldn't be doing any type of planning for a couple of days if you can afford that, because it's very easy, for example, to write something down in your diary and you put it down on a different day, and then you're going to be missing the deadline. Mercury is also about travel, so it's very easy to miss the bus, for example, or mixing up the timetable. How many times have I done that, thinking that the train is going to leave at 10 past 7, and that happens at the weekend, and on weekdays it leaves at 7 o'clock. And obviously I would get to the train station just 5 minutes before. I've done it so many times. So this is the type of Neptune and Mercury energy. Maybe, you know, Neptune or Mercury could represent something to do with courses as well. Maybe this is not the day when you want to be signing up for a course, but actually it could be brilliant to learn about spiritual courses, though. I mean, you know, I'm giving you the advice to try to switch off your mind, but it's easier said than done. So, of course, you cannot just tell your brain, now shut up and don't talk to me because Victor said that we should switch off. So you're going to have to find somehow to distract your mind from everyday activities. Maybe you want to be focusing a little bit more on your sleeping patterns as well. So do you sleep enough, or do you have got the tendency to daydream? Of course, when you're at work and daydreaming, you know, not the greatest in the eye of a boss, but allow yourself for your fantasy to fly around a little bit. However, Neptune can also heighten your senses. So when it comes to touch, especially, you know what? You might start you know, you might have got this shivering going on at the back of your spine because you felt something. You might not be able to make sense of it immediately. You might be able to communicate Mercury with lost souls or with angels. That's also very Neptunian and Piscean as well at the same time. Also, maybe you are sitting right in front of your astrology chart. Maybe you learn a new technique, for example, but you can easily get confused with that. So you might need an expert who could give you a bit of a guidance, for example. You might actually end up having a spiritual conversation with someone that would be probably brilliant as well. You might be more fascinated about mysteries or even psychology or, you know what, love stories. So those are really Neptunian characteristics. Maybe you want to be doing some dancing. It's brilliant for putting together choreography as well, if that's something you are up for. Maybe you want to start studying some art. Maybe you want to draw shoes or you want to be creating some type of leggings or just painting overall. Mercury Neptune is brilliant for that. Why shoes? Neptune rules shoes and leggings as well. Now, some of the negative side of this combo is that you might get into a secret love triangle, maybe actually with a younger person, and you might share this with someone else, and then they're gonna think that you are so scandalous, and how can you do that? So you can get judgment with this Mercury Neptune as well. If you are highly spiritual, oh, and then something I want to mention in regards to this relationship, that Mercury Neptunian ones don't always work out, okay? So watch out how much of an expectation you've got towards this fling or something that looks so brilliant at the beginning because it might shatter your dreams as soon as Mercury goes into the sign of Aries, which is going to be happening a couple of days after of the conjunction anyway. Now, if you are highly spiritual, then it really could give you some kind of like divine moments, some whispering into your ears. If you are not so spiritual, then actually you might start questioning the existence of a god or spiritual gurus or whether astrology works or not. You might end up kind of not knowing what to believe in and what not, or who to believe and who not anymore. So it's the aspect of confusion overall. Maybe it's the type of scenarios where I thought you said this, you had said this, and I thought we had been meant to be meeting here and there today, and then, you know, kind of like we missed each other. It's very possible that I was at this bus stop, but you were at the next bus stop, and then we were meant to be meeting at the corner, but unfortunately we missed each other. And then we kind of leave a little bit angry or with a bit of sour taste in our mouth. Especially, I would say, when it comes to text messages, you know, just watch out what type of text messages you send. Does that make sense? Does it have any type of clarity? Because it's very easy to read into those messages. You know, what happens here is that we have got the planet of rationality connecting with the planet of irrationality. So that's the reason why it's very difficult to make sense of certain things. Um, in a very difficult situation, this combination can talk to you about paranoia as well. Maybe you think that people are here to catch you out. People have got their own agenda. They want to drag you into something kind of dodgy. And yes, talking about that, watch out because you can get lied to, you can get deceived by someone, you can get scammed into something. So watch out for these scam emails. Do not click on anything suspicious, for example. Today I received two emails, for example, so-called PayPal, that you just paid Bitcoin for $799. And then if you do not agree with that, then click on this link. And, these are just scams. So obviously I did not click on it. But also you can feel a lot more compassionate towards the youth. You might actually notice that you talk to yourselves and then others are like, what the heck is going on with this person? You might actually start questioning your own sanity as well. And you know what? You talk to yourself and people think you are a bit of a cuckoo. Who cares, right? I like talking to my dogs, for example. Sometimes I do talk to myself as well. So I don't see any issue with it. But sometimes have to have those inner conversations. And this is exactly what Mercury and Neptune talk about. Neptune can represent kind of like the mirror. So looking into the mirror and having that type of conversation with you, which might bring you closer to the existence of yours, I think it's really beneficial with Mercury and Neptune anyway. But you can have a beautiful conversation, for example, with a homeless person or a person in need. You might get to know a story about your neighbor, which is fascinating. You never knew about that too. So these type of conversations, you are really encouraged to do so. So disconnecting from reality is very easy. You might actually make spelling mistakes. This is the reason why you should not be signing a contract, or you might stumble upon some words. It might become difficult to pronounce a word, but it invites you to be very creative, maybe in the kitchen, maybe in an artistic way. Maybe you're going to decide that you want to put together a cake, for example, for your loved ones. Remember, conjunctions are about unification. So today we have to bring together our logical mind with our senses and with our abstract way of thinking. And this is not essentially easy. I mean, from a technical point of view, Mercury is in fall as well as detriment too, and then it gets colored with Neptune in the sign of Pisces. So this Mercury is really overwhelmed. Even though I'm not a big fan of this technicality of fall and detriment, but this time around, this Neptune is really, really foggy. The brain is actually fried here. This aspect is very good for trying to make sense of your vision, maybe taking notes of your dreams, trying to do a bit of a dream interpretation, or maybe you want to have a deeper understanding of how the universe functions around us. It's good to try to understand symbolism as well. And you know what? There is a big chance that you're not going to be able to understand those symbols, but actually using your kind of like imagination, you come up with some type of stories. Probably we're going to see on social media quite loads of things such as, like, oh, I keep seeing 3 sevens. What does that mean? Type of questions. Probably we're going to see some very misleading information on the social media as well. So what you read in these couple of days, you know what, there is no truth to it whatsoever. So probably just walk away from it. It's also about the realization that things do not look the way we see them. This is an invitation to understand beyond the material world. Watch out, as it is so easy to pursue the world from a kind of like a dreamlike perspective, kind of like believing that no one is cruel, no one will screw us over. And of course, we're going to fall into that trap. And when we wake up, then it leads to some type of mental stress. It's very easy to imagine things as well. So that's kind of like, a kind of a paranoia as well. So overall, I think this is one of the most challenging aspect of the month as well. And I think my next video is going to be about the upcoming eclipse anyway. So I'm not considering the eclipse here as an aspect because that's a full chart and configuration. So I will be making one about that, which is a very interesting lunation, by the way. But take this aspect with you, try to meditate on it, and then see how you can use that in the bestest form in your own life. If you want to give some or get some tips and hints from me how to utilize this according to your own chart, then you can join my membership family, and I will give you extra 10 videos a month about current influences of the sky. Have a good one, everyone, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.